Well, peace, y'all. Um, Here we are. I am going to do, hopefully, I can do this without any mistakes. But I'm going to do a divination. Specifically, hold on. I'm gonna do a divination specifically. Peace. I see some people in here. Y'all, I don't have my glasses on. I can't see well, and I'm not gonna be able to look and catch your chat or anything like that while I'm doing this live divination. Of course, this is a tool that those of us who are awakening can use. So peace to everyone coming in here. Infinite love and ashe to you. Before I began this divination, I was inspired to do this, and I've been having to practice self-love by going to bed at a certain time at night. And I have found that even though I go to bed at a certain time at night, I am still not able to sleep at night. It's a long story, but a lot of us are experiencing the awakening, and this is how it is impacting our circadian rhythm. My circadian rhythm has always been off, but it's just a manifestation of being a star seed, being otherworldly, being activated, and so your sleep and everything is changing. So with that being said, I am truly inspired to do this. And this is something I could have been done if I was doing it chasing cloud or anything like that, or just trying to be, trendy. And people is this stuff like this is becoming trendy. Even Christians, in the closet, they be watching these videos, and or any type of religion. Yeah, my cat just keep touching my butt. Thanks. What is going on with you? Why are you messing with me? She messing with me because she already know I'm gonna do this video. She is really funny. If I put you on camera, you go run. Do it again. I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna put you in the video. Don't be talking back. So anyway, with all the changes and stuff that are occurring, with the website and everything, that it's a lot, and it's a lot of work, and I really wasn't quite ready for this, but it's okay because we are a tribe, we are a family. You all are sending good vibes to us as we are to you. So we want to say thank you to everybody who happens to catch this live and people who catch the replay. Okay, so the reason I felt so inspired to do this was a few things, and I really didn't even want to put that title in the title, but I didn't know what else to put in there. Let me give you a brief synopsis of what occurred today, which led to me switching up my schedule and doing this. So earlier today, I've been doing readings throughout the day, and days that I do readings are typically days where I end up anchoring new information for the collective as well, because the channels are open, and I'm working to open the channels for the purpose of the readings. And so sometimes these huge downloads come in, and so this was one of those days. And with that being said, I picked up my phone, and as you all know, digital magic is a very real thing. And so, once you start practicing and learning to align with the laws of the universe, typically what happens is that it impacts your timeline on your social media, on your device. So it's not just saying numbers, but it's certain videos that are posted on your device. It's certain channels maybe that you hadn't watched in 3 years, and all of a sudden this specific channel has a video on your timeline, and it's the very first one. When things like that happen, that is a nudge from the spiritual realm that this is something that you should pay attention to. And so this is what happened. I clicked on the video, and the video was London Real. This is like a truther network, and even though they probably had a few people on there, that those of us who've been on this path for a little while of seeking the truth may not agree with all of his guests on the show, but I have absolutely found that he has put blood, sweat, and tears into what he's doing, and it's almost to the point where he's not afraid of any repercussions of what he's doing, and that is phenomenal. That he's doing that. If you've never heard of London Real, just look it up and go check it out. I cannot say the physician's name in this video because he is being blackballed, a media blackout. There's a lot going on centered around this physician. This physician is very well known. He has books that have been best sellers, like in history type like level of knowledge. And he brings facts. He brings receipts. He bring the real scholarship and everything that he presents. And so I knew about him before now. He's in the realm of people like Bruce Lipton, if you want an idea. And if you want to know exactly who he is, in the video that I'm speaking of that has been ripped from every place that it was posted and shared, this video has even been taken out of people's email. When someone would find it, screen capture it, and then send it by email to someone, they would open their email and it's not there. Okay, so that's the level that we are dealing with of information that is being exposed that maybe certain people don't want to be exposed. I was even wondering if it would be okay for us to repost, and then, my spirit guys was like, absolutely not. The most that you can do is point them in a direction and use your website. And I have been permitted to do this short divination. The reason I'm doing this is because within 20 minutes of watching the video, almost every single information that I transmitted to you guys when I was channeling with my guys was confirmed, like in the first 20 minutes of the video. And this is an over 2 hour long video. So at that point, I knew, as we are awakening, we don't even know our own greatness and capability and what we're capable of doing when we tap in. So I was just like, this is astounding. It's not like I didn't think that the information was accurate, because I wouldn't have shared it with y'all if it wasn't. I definitely would not have went on Dr. Bay's show talking about something that I didn't feel for sure about. So with that being said, this is why I'm doing this, because the connections were paramount. So hopefully this video don't get took down, and hopefully we don't have any issues. So y'all just call on protection for us and continue to send good vibes our way. There's always a risk when you are doing something that is exposing things that have been done in the dark. But you know what? When you make decisions to serve others and humanity and the evolution of consciousness to do things like this, I do believe that there is a level of protection that is given to you that you don't usually have because you didn't need it. So with that being said, we are protected, and I'm going to get into the divination. Okay, so I'm going to be using crystal quartz. Quartz crystal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a few questions, and we're going to see if these questions are accurate or not, because there's so much information out there. It's hard to know what to believe. And I know a lot of you are like, well, I'm kind of over it now. I already know what's up. This is a setup, the new world order, blase, blase, blase. And I feel exactly the way that you do. However, this is something that just won't let me go completely. And I have a few days of not dealing with it, not talking about it, and then the next thing you know, something major comes through. So this is very spiritual, and it is important, and it's more than meets the eye. Okay. So regarding COVID-19, thank you. Thank you for the sacred circle. Thank you for the protection of everyone here participating in this. We just want to give gratitude to every spiritual existence that is for our greater good, that is assisting us. We want to start off with gratitude and love and just infinite ashe to our spirit guides and our ancestors, and even the ones that have been helping those of us awakening that we are not aware of at this point. Regarding COVID-19, with this particular doctor and the information that he released, and it has been erased everywhere, even personal emails. Is this true? Is this really happening with this information that he's sharing? Okay, I'm getting a yes. When my crystal spins to the right, that is a yes for me. That is clockwise. And when it spins to the left, that is a no. But you see, I'm getting a very strong yes. Okay? All right, thank you for that. So now we know that this is a source that can be trusted to receive the truth from. Okay, next question. So about around about 2013, 2014, there were a lot of holistic physicians and researchers, and even just regular parents who were doing research on vaccination, vaccine injury, making connections. And the guy that worked for the CDC, whose son was diagnosed autistic, he was the whistleblower that released the information saying that a lot of the things that were being used for autism and ADHD, things like that, and the vaccine was all set up for a specific purpose, and that young African American boys was the target of that. And with this information, we knew that there was no way we were going to vaccinate our children anymore, because it was confirmed spiritually as well as the information that was coming through. So, what I would like to know, this whistleblower who released this information, was this information something that has been working against us, awakening the dormant DNA, and allowing us to integrate with our higher selves and create a new timeline for the evolution of Earth? I'm getting a yes. Okay. Thank you for that. If y'all don't know about this or who this is, just do a research, CDC, whistleblower, vaccination, and you can put African American behind it. If I'm not mistaken, the Health Ranger was one of the first people to release the information that I remember. And he's been booted off of YouTube and stuff too. So y'all would probably have to go to the Health Ranger's website to get access to this information. Okay, thank you for that. Now, about 6 months after this information went viral, there were a lot of people coming up dead, and their deaths were all very suspicious. They were being said, the reports were saying things like they committed suicide with nail guns. They committed suicide with a gun, with one gunshot wound. There would be things like to the chest, and the weapon was a shotgun. And unless you can stretch your arms, we know that that is impossible to do. So the question I'm going to ask is, the deaths that were occurring, and most of these people were doing research and protesting vaccination, were their deaths linked to this COVID-19? I'm getting a yes. Y'all see this? I'm getting a yes. Okay, so their deaths was linked to this. Okay, so let's go more specific. All right, so Dr. Cunningham, was Dr. Cunningham the guy with the military background, black man who worked for the CDC, and he had some of the highest, I mean, everything about him. He was really a living legend when you read about him, and it was just really paramount. And I feel that that makes anything that he was trying to get out to us very important. Whatever it was that he had access to, and he was going to release it, was it centered around this pandemic? Was Dr. Cunningham's death connected to the pandemic and the plans of the pandemic? I'm getting a yes. Now, just so you all can see, just in case some of you maybe have not started using divination, or you're still kind of on the fence about what is really accurate and what isn't, I'm going to ask a question that most everybody here watching this will know the answer is no to, and let's see if we get a no, just so you all can be sure of the accuracy of using this form of divination using a pendulum. Okay, is my name Sarah Michelle? Is my name Sarah Michelle? I'm getting a no. Y'all see the counterclockwise? It's going to the left now and back around. And if this is because I'm using a front camera, it may be reversed for you. But you see, this is a totally opposite direction of the other questions. There was a yes. Okay, I'll just say that just in case it's being mirrored and it looks different. Y'all see this? Okay. So just in case you didn't notice the no and yes, I'm going to ask a question that everybody here probably knows by now is true. Is My birth name, Camson. Is my birth name Camson? I'm getting a yes. So you see the direction is different. Okay. And when you start doing this yourself, you already started. This is a really good way to see how accurate your connection is with the crystal that you're using for your pendulum. And it don't even have to be a crystal, y'all. It can really be any object that's heavy connected to a string, honestly. Okay, so y'all, this is a big deal. Dr. Cunningham and his death. Initially, I was on my way back from Atlanta, and we were riding past the area where his body was found, and this was days, almost a week before his body was found. And when we rode through the area, I just had this grief come over me, and I, clear as day, heard his spirit say that he was dead and that he had been thrown there. Was that Dr. Cunningham's spirit speaking to me? I'm getting a yes before I can even finish the question. Let me completely stop and try it again. Was Dr. Cunningham's spirit speaking to me when we were driving through that area? I'm getting a yes. Okay. So if y'all remember how strange his death was, the amount of water that he was found in was just impossible for somebody to die in. From my understanding, it was damn near like a puddle. And you can go back and look at that. And there's a psychic, and her name on YouTube is Frequency, and it's spelled exactly how Frequency is spelled. She's a very accurate psychic, and I found her about 2 or 3 days after his spirit communicated to me that it was some stuff going on around his death, and he wanted me to know the truth. And I did post that video, if I'm not mistaken. I posted it, y'all. And what happened was, I was thinking that it was the flu, and the flu vaccine was the totality of the information he was about to release the day that he was murdered. But it wasn't. It was absolutely connected to what's going on right now with the pandemic, according to the pendulum. Okay, so all of those doctors, physicians, parents, protesters, all of those people that were found dead under these really strange circumstances, including Dr. Cunningham, this was pointing to the pandemic. Is this the first of many others to come? Will there be other pandemics with the same agenda as this one? Yes. There will be other pandemics, y'all. Okay? This is not really the first, but this is the first on this level. Okay? Is the present situation specifically to lock us down in the 3D matrix programming? Is the purpose of this situation to lock down souls from ascending and awakening from the 3D program? I'm getting a yes. Okay. All right. Next question. Is the COVID, I don't even want to say the name of it, but is the cause of this pandemic, was it created in a laboratory? Was this pandemic created in a laboratory? Okay. Yes, it was. It's a weak yes. Why is this a weak yes? Okay, so this particular virus, did this virus exist prior to 2019? Did this virus exist prior to 2019? I'm getting a yes, but it's not very strong. So that tells me that my question is not detailed enough. So let's go here. This particular virus that is causing the pandemic, is it the same virus that has always existed since it was first found? Is this the exact same virus that always existed since it was first found? No. I'm getting a no. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. So is the virus that's causing this pandemic, was it the result of splicing? Was it the result of a chimera form of situation? Was this a combination of something natural and unnatural? Was this a combination of something natural and unnatural? Was this a form of chimera? I'm getting a yes. It was. Okay. Okay. Mm. Those who are on the path of spiritual awakening, will this be for our greater good? Those on the path of a spiritual awakening, is this for our greater good? Yes, it is. Okay. Hmm. Okay. From this point forward, should those who are awakening practice focusing on spiritual hygiene, energetic cleansing, and the ability to better contain the mind. Okay. So a lot of y'all, we've been talking about meditation and everything, especially since the Arcturians came through and corrected some things that I believed about chakras that wasn't right. And then we had the Tom Kenyon shamanic heart opening meditation inspired by the Hathors. Okay, so since that's happened, we've been reading our comments and emails and messages and stuff. And thank y'all so much for being so transparent and open and willing to share that information with us. But with that being said, I feel like yes, this is an agenda, and yes, the agenda is something that will be considered harmful. However, the end result of this is going to be for the benefit of those who are awakening. And so let's see what our focus should be on, okay? For those who are awakening, should we just practice anchoring ourselves in love and focusing on the evolution of humanity? Should we focus on the evolution of humanity? Yes. Okay. Our day-to-day practice, should our day-to-day practice be practicing anchoring the energy of love outside of circumstances? Should we focus on anchoring love outside of circumstances happening in the world? Yes. Okay. Are there entities who are feeding the media and other forms of gods to harness, to vampirically suck the energy from fear and desperation? Are we being used as a feeding frenzy? Yes. No. No, I'm getting a yes. 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 So it's like a buffet table on earth right now, y'all, with what they're doing. And it's feeding a whole lot of entities. But again, even though these things are coming through as true, again, remember that what the outcome is going to be. And this is what we must keep our focus on, the outcome. Okay. Let's see, is there anything that I'm leaving out? It was something else that came through that got confirmed within the first 20 minutes of listening to this video. Okay. Prior to me doing this divination, I was told that the as above, so below, so within, so without, that we must pay attention to nature, pay attention to daughter Earth and Mother Cosmos, so that we will be prepared for any plan that is going to be brought against us to stop us from getting free from the 3D matrix. I haven't shared this information with them yet, but I'm going to post that information. But my question is, as to the accuracy of this, and physically, what should we focus on? So the daughter Earth, the lungs of daughter Earth, which are the trees, came under attack, and this came in the form of a lot of fires, like wildfires, forest fires, and even the rainforest being on fire. Was this connected to this pandemic? Were the fires and all of those trees being destroyed a part of the plan of this pandemic? I'm getting a yes. Okay. Are trees the lungs of daughter Earth? Are trees the lungs of daughter Earth? Are trees the lungs that fuel oxygen for us on Earth? Yes. Okay. Was this an omen to us to work on the health of our lungs, to focus on building up the immune system and the health of our lungs? Was this an omen for us to build up our immune system and the health of our lungs? I'm getting a yes. So see, we missed it. Y'all, when this was happening, I don't know anybody who pointed this out to us, so that was an omen. I did do a video about the fires and specifically the rainforest and spiritually the alchemy that was taking place with that. But because we have awakened to our multi-dimensional existence, we now know that any plan that is rolled out, there is always going to be many, many layers to that plan. There is no black and white anymore. And as we go into this new consciousness and a new earth, this also means that there will be multiple perspectives. There will always be multiple ways of perceiving things. And there will always be multiple forces behind what is happening. Okay? So nothing is one thing. And it used to be very one and two dimensional. But understand, as we go up in consciousness, that things are going to become more dimensional than they have ever been before. I've never seen my pendulum do this. I don't know what's going on right now. It is just going, and I'm not asking, or nor am I moving. It just stopped. Okay. So, okay. Okay, so are the face masks actually protecting us? Are face masks actually protecting us from the pandemic? Are the face masks actually protecting us from the pandemic? I'm getting a no. Now we know that this could be airborne. We know that it can live on surfaces up to 9 days. I mean, anybody did basic research that came across that. But I'm getting to know about the face mask. So then what is the real purpose of the face mask? I know that we can be carriers and don't know we have it, don't have symptoms, and we can pass it on to other people. That part makes sense, okay? So is there a nefarious reason behind the face mask? Is there a nefarious reason behind the face mask? Is there a hidden agenda behind the face mask? Yes. Sometimes you have to ask the question in different ways to make it more clear. Okay. Okay, yes, so there's another reason. There's a whole other reason that's hidden behind the face mask, y'all. So as we have been dying to self, purging, and also allowing the false self to die, which is basically taking off the mask that we have worn to become our authentic selves. And now all of a sudden, we are being told to wear masks to protect ourselves. Is there a connection between the mask we're taking off spiritually and the mask we're being told to put on physically? I'm getting a yes. It's not real strong, but it's a yes. So y'all, basically with what I just asked, basically what happens is spiritually on a collective level, when we start taking off our mask in order to stop that or to counteract that, then the physical realm is going to be used to manifest on this in the spiritual realm. You get what I'm saying? So everything is ritual, everything is ceremony with the powers that be. And so by having a situation set up where we feel like the only way we're safe to breathe is to put on masks, even though we have been being hit with blood and the chemtrails. We did a video on that with really good sources. All of this stuff is so much stuff we've been breathing in that was really harmful for us. And so all of a sudden now, when the awakening like hits a peak, when we hit a climax of the awakening, and we're finally, a lot of us didn't even know we had masks on, right? And so you realize you got a mask on. Was this a ceremony? Was this a ceremony to cause us to put the mask back on to be safe? Was this a ceremony by the powers that be to cause us to feel like having a mask on is safe to be? I'm getting a yes. Okay. So basically what happens is it's kind of like programming the subconscious mind. So if you're being constantly bombarded with putting on the mask is the way to be safe, on a subconscious, unconscious level, what can happen is that the idea of that can implant a thought form, and it can manifest spiritually as well. And you'll find yourself doing things that consist of the old you prior to taking off your mask and even seeing that you have one on. So I'm being told that yes, this is a spiritual warfare that is happening, which we already know, but it's good to get the details. So I'm not recommending anybody wear a mask or to not wear a mask. I'm simply just asking questions and seeing what come through, and I ask that you use this information as it resonates with you. Okay, the purpose of this is not to tell anybody what is right or wrong, or who is right or wrong. This is just seeking truth for the collective. Okay, thank you for that. Do anybody have a question? Let me stop for just a second. I'm gonna stay on here with y'all probably like 5 more minutes because I have a lot more work to do before I can go to bed. It's a lot of stuff that we need to post and get out to y'all too. Working on the meditation too. So y'all, was it a question that I didn't ask that y'all feel like should be asked? That's important. If you do, if you could put it up on the screen, I'm gonna stop so that I can see if you want me to ask a question. And please keep the questions pertaining to the subject at hand of the things that are being used to stop this increase in consciousness and unlocking dormant DNA, if you can. Is there something, anything centered around the awakening or the pandemic that comes to you? I feel like I cover a lot, but if it's something just really, really strong hitting you and you're like, you feel like I should ask, just let me know. Put it up there on the screen. I hope y'all can hear me and everything is fine. If y'all could let me know, can y'all hear me fine? Is the audio good? Y'all some night owls up this late. I guess we not the only ones, huh? Okay, I'm not seeing anything popping up right now, so I'm assuming that means I've asked the right questions, or that means that I need to make sure. Okay, here we go. I can see now. All right. Okay, good. Y'all can hear good. Okay. Thank you. Shout out to everybody in here. May you be forever blessed. The elements of life. Thank you, Campson. You speak of splicing. And just yesterday, I finally got around to watching a movie called The Island of Dr. Monroe, which was recommended by Bobby, and it shows how splicing was introduced. That's very interesting. Yeah, I feel like this is a trial. Okay, humanity trials are like clinical trials. It's on both levels, right? So they're doing clinical trials, developing the vaccine, and maybe tweaking the vaccine. They probably already had it, but they're tweaking it for the outcome that they want. What's happening is with the gene splicing and everything. So this particular vaccine, when you hear people say, "Well, it's the exact same one," it's in the same category with a common cold. Yes, that may be true. However, this has been weaponized. So that is a whole different situation that we're dealing with right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask a few more questions that I didn't ask that's coming through. It feels like it's important for y'all to know. So let's see. Okay, should we be concerned? How can I form this question? Let me see. Okay, I don't know how to form that question. Hold on, it's coming through with an answer, and I want to put it in the form of a question. Let's see. Can you exit the virus as a nanobot technology? I saw channeling related to that recently. Okay, thank you, Ramon. Absolutely. So, and yeah, that came through in the channelings that I did too. So it's funny you say that. So, with this particular pandemic, is this are nanobots a huge part of this pandemic? Are nanobots a huge part of this pandemic? Are nanobots a part of this pandemic? Yes. Let's be more specific. Are there nanobots being put in the vaccine that will actually be able to prohibit connection with the higher self, most high creator? Will there be nanobots or any other particles or matter we don't know of that will be put in the vaccines that will stop the awakening? Is this the agenda here? Are nanobots being used to stop the awakening in vaccines? Yes. I'm getting a yes. Okay, thank you. Now I know how to ask the question. Okay. So regarding the upgrades that the human body is receiving, we know that that means that upgrades are happening in all of our bodies, beginning with our seven subtle bodies. With the upgrades we are receiving, is this the reason why the size of our liver was increased prior to this pandemic? Is this the reason our liver, the size of our liver, was increased prior to the pandemic? Was our liver size increased to protect us so we could continue awakening? I'm getting a yes. So if this is new to y'all, you never heard of this, you can research the Mandela effect, the anatomy of the body, and you can see that the liver is way bigger than it ever was. I was obsessed with anatomy, and so I feel like if anybody know, I would, because of my obsession with that, and from dealing with the illness or whatever that I have had to deal with. I wanted to pay attention to anatomy for a lot of reasons, and I went to school for nursing and stuff too. So yeah, the liver is bigger, and so this was our divine support, y'all. We got help, and if I'm not mistaken, this was discovered in 2016 that the liver was bigger. So this was a full 3 years prior to all of this happening. So I really feel like we really need to give thanks and appreciation to the beings who are assisting us that are outside of our light spectrum of being able to see them with our visual eyes. The upgrades to the body are helping us. So so yes, we are receiving upgrades to the body. Should we continue to use herbs and supplements to build up our body? Should we continue to use herbs and supplements to build up our body? Yes. Okay, thank you for that. Okay. Um, was one of the reasons for the Arcturians centering their focus on Earth in this timeline right now for the purposes of protecting health. Did the Arcturians anchor themselves to assist us prior to this pandemic? Did the Arcturians? Yep, they did. They posted up to help us prior to the pandemic. The Arcturians are the healers. They are known as the extraterrestrials. It's really not, we all star seeds, y'all, really. But yes, they've been posted up prior to this happening to help us. So this is just a lot of help. So I just want y'all to know, no matter what you learn new about this, and even your own channel messages and just nudges and hunches that you get, know that the awakening will not be stopped for those who are seeking fervently. And even in the Bible, it talked about the prayers of the righteous availeth much, and they do not return void. That when you seek with fervence, and when you seek with a genuine heart and pure spirit, you know that will be answered. And so we are receiving help that a lot of us we ain't even been tapped in enough to even ask for this help, and it is there. So take the time out and just give thanks to the help that we are receiving from the unseen realm. Okay, so were any of the other upgrades to the body, is the purpose of the upgrades to the body to go against the contamination that is being done to us? Are the upgrades of our physical body to protect us from the agenda 2020, 2030 in 2020? It's a yes, it's a yes, it's a yes, it's a yes. Okay. All right. Let's see, is there anything else? Concerning 5G, and there is nothing in this world that any of us feel could close down schools, libraries, museums, places that are not considered essential. Is it because 5G devices are being put in these places, and by having curfew and things like that, It's going to make it much more difficult for us to have proof and footage that this is happening. Are 5G devices being installed while we are on this quarantine and this curfew? Yes. So one of the main reasons for having us quarantine, y'all, is so that we don't see these 5G devices being put up. Are these 5G devices specifically being put up in the schools of our children? Are 5G devices being installed in schools of our children? Yes, I'm getting a yes. Yes. Okay. Um, well, y'all, that's pretty clear. I don't feel like anything that came through was confusing and didn't make sense. It was pretty clear. So thank y'all for just jumping on here with me. I know it's super late and I know y'all probably got a lot to do just like we do, but thank you for joining us, because when we come together, what happens is the resonance that we create whenever we come together, that right there alone is assisting everyone who is awakening. So I just want to thank everybody who watches this video on the replay or caught it on the live for just being here and witnessing this without judgment. You know, I don't feel like I got a lot of judgment. I was kind of worried about that. That still comes up sometimes, you know, like how are people going to react to me doing divination, something that was considered demonic and evil and harmful and things like that. And I didn't feel that. I really felt a lot of love and I felt a lot of covering from y'all. And I feel like y'all appreciate what it is we're trying to do with our tribe here. So I just want to say thank y'all for that and just for sending out that vibration of love. That is very important. So again, I want to confirm to you, yes, all of those nefarious things are being done. But in the end of this frequency war, because that's what this is. This is a frequency war. This is a war against consciousness, higher consciousness. And just yesterday, I was talking about this with my spirit team, you know, and they were just like, yeah, this is a frequency war. Because what was happening, I was trying to meditate and I couldn't meditate. And then it started seeming like something was happening to my body to make me not be able to get in a trance-like state. And so it's just like our brain waves are constantly being hit to keep us from going into theta and delta. And you know, and so this is where successful connection happens with the spirit realm and even with your subconscious mind and unconscious mind. So if you've been feeling that way, I woke up and heard ringing in my ears today. I hadn't had that in a while. So this is a frequency war. This is not really a war centered around worldly resources, oil, and things like that. This war is really about consciousness. And for the entities who feed off of the ignorance, people say ignorance is bliss. And I believe that ignorance is blissful because when you're in a state of ignorance, there are certain entities who need us to be in an ignorant state of being to be able to survive and live because they feed off of that. And so this is much bigger than resources, okay? Consciousness has become the ultimate resource. Consciousness is the ultimate treasure. Consciousness, no price can be put on consciousness. And so I want you to continue to do what you are doing. Continue to purge and release judgment and every light code that came through this channel in the past few years that we've shared with you guys to help us get free from the indoctrination and the bondage that we've been in. Just know that you are the commodity. You are priceless. You are immortal. You are important. And sometimes we feel like something is happening and we need to fix it. And this is not one of those cases. This isn't something we need to fix. The purpose of this is for us to have a catalyst to go deeper within. So even though this was set up to try to stop us from awakening, it became a catalyst which is making us press in and be more motivated and more inspired and be able to have more discipline, because it's very important to have consistency on the spiritual path. And so we went from being automatic to being manual, and it's like driving a stick. And this is what's happening with the consciousness. And this is why we can't eat what we used to eat and get away with it. Like a lot of stuff you used to do, you cannot do anymore. And so this is the purpose of that. So I just want to tell y'all, it's really important what you are doing. Don't feel like what we're doing on the channel, like in any way, it makes small whatever you are doing. You don't have to have a channel. You don't have to be doing any of this. But just by you being aware, just by you seeking the truth about things and having that hunger, and you are willing to set aside everything that you thought you knew and fully humble yourself in the presence of spirit, in the presence of most high, understanding that you are an extension of source, that you are the greatest resource. You are the greatest commodity. You are priceless. And one thing that I learned today from a reading with a client that came through, and I thought it was really powerful, and it was that sometimes awareness is the solution. So you don't have to find a fix to every problem that reveals itself to you. Sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do is remain aware of it and don't allow yourself to shift back into a frequency of ignorance because something is too painful to see or feel or experience or hear, okay? And this is we have to come out of this because we have gotten too comfortable with being comfortable to the point where we would do anything to get rid of discomfort. And so when stuff comes to the surface, you don't always have to find a way to fix it. Your awareness alone, okay, your awareness alone is the solution. It is the remedy, okay? So thank y'all so much because seeking things outside of ourselves to become whole, that is 3D and that's not of the 5D, 4D and higher consciousness. And so that's what is being purged right now. And I know that y'all feel like y'all got split personalities because I do. Ernest deal with it too. But again, I just want to say to you, continue to press in and not allow yourself to fall below the veil of consciousness. And I'm not talking about pertaining to stuff going on in the world, but more so pertaining to the things that are going on within your own kingdoms, within you. Okay? Don't allow yourself to be lullabied back to sleep. Like, don't take the blue pill. You already took the red pill. You are awakening. You are enough. Everything that you need to get through this, everything that you need to reach your highest potential is already available to you. Okay? And nobody can take that away from you. And as you see that the identity that you were given in density is being relieved from you so that you are able to connect with your I divinity. Okay? So the density that we've been in, it created an identity. That's why denta. You see, this words always reveal the truth to things. And so as you are coming to the fullness of your I divinity, who you are at the core of your soul, without the bells and whistles, without the mask, without the programs, the indoctrinations, the trauma, the heartbreaks, the core wounds, all of that. Who you really are is showing itself to you every single day, every moment of the day. And if I was able to give you anything that I feel like is going to help you on this path, it would be don't be afraid to ask for help. Not just from, that includes your spirit guides help from the unseen realm for your greatest good and the seen, even with each other. Don't be afraid to say, I need help with this, or I don't understand, or I don't know if I can handle this. I need strength for this. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Remember, a closed mouth don't get fed. Um, because as you step into your I divinity, you are going to feel discomfort. You are going to have dark night of the soul days. It is part of the process. You're going to have moments where it's like you are being hella narcissistic and everything that you learned was like, no, don't be like that. But a lot of us came through religion and we have been the martyrs. And so for us on the spiritual path, a little dose of narcissism is actually giving balance to the program of being a martyr that we were given to sacrifice ourselves. We don't have to do that anymore. We do not have to sacrifice ourselves to walk in our truth anymore. That is the blessing of this new paradigm shift. So I would leave you all with that. Thank you all for the love. Thank y'all for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If there were any moderators in the building and I didn't get a chance to see you, thank you to the moderators. And Ashe, thank you for the donation. May everything that you are needing come through for you, okay? Thank you for that. Money is just currency, y'all. It's just energy. And whether you're sending money or love, like it's relevant, it's important. We are changing things. And even though, again, I just want to say to y'all, even though there are nefarious reasons behind what's happening, the amount of sacredness and the amount of divine power and oneness that is being created in this moment of darkness, because darkness is necessary to give birth to anything. And a lot of us were afraid to go into the darkness to create what it is we desire most. And so darkness was gifted to us on a collective level for us to access our highest potential. And that is something else to be grateful for. And that kind of sounds crazy, but to be grateful for any trials. And back when we were in religion, it was like, have joy, know that the trials are coming, and let them be a reason to have joy, that you are being tested, that your faith is being tested, so that you can see your endurance and see your resilience and the strength of the divinity within you. As you sit under these words, I want to encourage you, and I want to give that to you. And we do not have to go around screaming at everybody trying to get them to hear the truth. It's okay. Each soul can choose their own path. And it is not for us to force anything on anyone, but just as you tap into your authentic self, continue to walk in your truth. And by doing that, we are healing. We are healing ourselves and others. All right. We love y'all. And as we always say, man, your third eye has just been kissed. Good night.